The programs usually seen at this time will not be seen tonight in order that we may bring you the following special broadcast. From Election Central Headquarters, the latest breaking news of election returns. Your reporter, William Redfield.
Good evening. The news tonight is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A city to whom history is no stranger. Philadelphia is seeing history made once again tonight. 2 hours ago, voting booths in supermarkets all across the city closed, and store managers began to tally the count. Upon these votes hangs the fate of one of America's most celebrated figures. What happens here tonight means the beginning of a new national career or the ignominious end for a man whose name over the last decade has already become a household word. His name, Mr. Clean. Often a leader, always a heavy-duty campaigner, Mr. Clean came to Philadelphia with a new image, a new formula for success, a new smell. Not everyone is impressed with the change. There are some who say it is just the same old performer with a new label. A nice job of cosmetics, designed to hide the wrinkles. Others say it is nothing of the sort, that this is indeed a new man, a vital, strong competitor, flexing muscles he has never used before. Who is right? The votes cast by housewives over this past year, the votes now being tallied by Philadelphia store managers, will decide the issue. While we're waiting for first word on how the vote is going, let's move to the lemon-refreshed headquarters of Mr. Clean. Crowded, noisy, filled with the typical hoopla of an election night. This is the campaign headquarters of the lemon-refreshed candidate. Somewhere in that room is our on-the-floor reporter, Raleigh Bond. Can you hear me over all that confusion, Raleigh?
Just barely, Bill.
Can you give us an idea of what it's like down there, Raleigh, from your vantage point?
Mr. Clean's campaign headquarters are crowded, noisy, filled with the typical hoopla of an election night.
As you look around, Raleigh, would you say the majority of the crowd down there is women?
Yes. You want to get the hell off of my cord?
The large number of women in the crowd there coming as no surprise to those of us who have been following this campaign. Mr. Clean has been hitting very, very hard on the slogan, he gets the dirt and leaves the wax shining. And as I'm sure you'll agree, Raleigh, that idea appeals very strongly to women.
I don't care if you Walter Crunk, I'd get your damn foot off my cord.
How about his new lemon-refreshed fragrance? I understand that seems to be making an equally impressive show of itself down there on the floor.
Certainly hard to miss, Bill. From where I stand, I would say that his lemon-refreshed fragrance is making a very, very impressive showing. I think if we can get a shot of some of the signs here in the hall. Now, you want to get the hell away from in front of the camera? You got to look at some of those signs, did you?
Yes, we did. From here, it appears that the promise that lemon-refreshed Mr. Clean gets the dirt but leaves the wax shining is a very, very meaningful message to women and very, very popular.
Well, from where I stand, I would have to agree with you.
But from here, it also appears that his new lemon-refreshed fragrance is also extremely popular. So, in summing up how things look down there on the floor, you'd say what, Raleigh?
Well, Bill, when you've been in the business as long as I have, you'll learn not to speculate on the outcome of an election, but a personal observation, if I may. Now, this disguise, noise, typical hoopla of an election night. And that's how it looks down here, Bill.
And that's succinct personal observation from our on-the-floor reporter, Raleigh Bond. Well, with the first returns of the balloting in now, it would appear that the lemon-refreshed candidate is doing somewhat better than anticipated. He is running up an unusually strong total in the distribution of 9s and 24s. And while it's still too early to project what the overall outcome will be, our election central computers are projecting, based on those distribution figures, that sales may be up 31% in this city over normal sales of the old Mr. Clean. Now, that would be an impressive gain for the lemon-refreshed candidate, if he can sustain it. The question, of course, can he? I'd like to put that question to Mr. Clean's campaign manager, who is in the studio with us this evening, John Lemon. John, it's nice to have you with us.
It's nice to be here, Bill.
Well, John, what about it? Do you think that 31% increase in sales our computers are projecting is an accurate figure?
Actually, I'm looking for a somewhat higher figure myself. I'm also anticipating a 50% increase in distribution.
Based on what?
Based on our candidate's strength as a performer and the tremendous enthusiasm of our sales organization. You know, they're the ones who really mean the success or failure of the operation. The men who go from store to store getting our candidate's story across, the things he has to offer. They're the ones who have gotten out into the field with maximum merchandising support behind this campaign and are making it work.
Well, that's an interesting observation, John. Now, on the subject of your candidate's capabilities, we've heard some of the opposition saying that there's really nothing new about him. Just a new image, so to speak. A bright new label on the same old product. Is there really any truth to this, or is this just mudslinging from the opposite side?
I think that's precisely what it is. And frankly, we're not worried one little bit about it because Mr. Clean can handle any kind of mud they can throw, not to mention any grease, grime, stains, or smudges. Lemon Refreshed Mr. Clean is a changed man from the inside out. Women all over this city who have met the new Mr. Clean have told us exactly that. As I think you know, they're the ones who really know if our candidate can deliver what he promises. They're telling us he can.
A candidate who can deliver what he promises, in the words of John Lemon. Pretty impressive words. Raleigh, I wonder if you've found any evidence of that kind of support from women down there at the Lemon Refreshed headquarters.
As a matter of fact, Bill, I have. I've been chatting for the past few minutes with a group of ladies from the Women's Liberation Movement.
Women's Liberation Movement? What are they doing at Clean headquarters?
That's a good question.
That's a stupid question.
I was just about to ask that question of this lovely lady.
Woman. We don't like that word, lady. Call me woman.
A woman? I wonder if you could tell us what you and your organization are doing down here tonight.
I certainly can. We're here because this candidate realizes what we are up against. The slavery, drudgery, oppression that comes with being a good woman wife and woman mother.
Could you be a little more specific?
I certainly can. Do you realize we women spend 5.6 years of our lives doing such menial tasks as waxing floors? That one simple job takes 2,044 days of her life.
Or perhaps better said, 24,528 hours just to wax your average 4.3 room, 6,478 square foot cubic area of floor space house.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not getting the point. What has all this waxing time got to do with Mr. Clean?
But that's just the point, young man. Because he has no harmful ammonia to strip the wax, he gets the dirt and leaves the wax shining.
Even you ought to be able to understand that. Let me tell you, the days are over when we wax our floors and then a few days later have to clean them with a product that strips the wax. We've gotten rid of all those kinds of cleaners, along with our bras. No harmful restraints on women.
Sometimes I think throwing the bras away was a mistake.
You ladies, women, have certainly made up your mind.
That's not just us. Read your newspapers. You'll find that women all over prefer Lemon Refreshed Mr. Clean's new formula 2-to-1 over the way he used to clean.
He gets my floor shinier than he ever did before.
And that lemon refresh fragrance is just wonderful.
Right. Women prefer his new fragrance 4 to 1 over the way he used to smell. And that's why we're here, to spread the word. Down with drudgery. Up with lemon refreshed Mr. Clean. Up, up, 2, 3, 4. Up, 2, 3.
If you really want to know, I'm here because I like Mr. Clean's looks. The shoulders on that man just send me up the wall.
Well, that about says it. Back to you, Bill.
And the latest report on the store precinct tally. Now, with nearly 2/3 of the vote in, lemon-refreshed Mr. Clean still holds a commanding lead. The distribution of 9s and 24s still holding up. And on the basis of our latest information, our computer's projections now show that shipments will be up 35% over normal sales of Mr. Clean. That is an increase to 35% over normal sales in favor of the lemon-refreshed candidate. We're talking with campaign manager John Lemon. John, I wonder if you can tell us something about how you are getting your message across to women so forcefully in this election.
Well, primarily through television. We have some very exciting television advertising that seems to be quite effective in telling women our story. I understand we're going to be seeing some of that tonight.
Yes, I think we're racked up now. We racked up? Ready to go? Good. John, if you'll watch the monitor up there, I think you'll be able to see what the viewers at home are seeing.
Nice nose.
Thanks.
Let's test it. Close your eyes.
That's a big, fresh, shiny lemon.
Close. It's new lemon refreshed Mr. Clean.
Smells great.
What's great is his new formula. It gets the dirt and can leave the wax even shinier. So you get a sheen.
Lemon refreshed Mr. Clean. I'll buy that.
That's nice.
Can you tell us something about that commercial?
Well, I think it speaks pretty well for itself. Women seem to be getting the message of what our candidate is all about, and our gets the dirt but leaves the wax shining story seems to fit hand in glove with our candidate's new lemon-refreshed characteristics.
We have another commercial. Shall we have a look at that?
Yes, I believe this one is called Lemon Happening.
Mr. Clean has a new lemon-refreshed formula. One sniff and lemons happen everywhere. Want another surprise? Look at the floor. New Mr. Clean gets the dirt and can leave the wax even shinier than he did before.
Now open your eyes and look at the floor. He can get it shinier than he got it before. Even shinier than he got it before. Lemon refresh, lemon refresh, lemon refresh, Mr. Clean.
That's very impressive advertising. Any comments from the candidate himself on it?
Well, he liked this commercial a good deal. Liked the music, the girl, the shots of the floor. The only thing he wasn't particularly happy about was the cartoon drawing of himself. He said he was under the impression that he was a little better looking than that.
Now, how many people do you believe will see this advertising?
Well, based on our showing here, our plans for moving nationwide are pretty much locked in. The commercials you've just seen will be part of that national campaign. Now, with our heavy-up advertising, we anticipate that 88% of the homes in America will have seen these commercials at least 18 times during the first 13 weeks of the national campaign.
Well, with that kind of coverage, I'd say your lemon-refreshed candidate is as good as sold.
Well, I wouldn't say that, Bill. We do think these commercials are going to play their part. And we do know we have a performer here who women like. But the real key, as always, is still going to be the sales organization out there in every district. They're the ones who will be counted on to get the new distribution of 9s and 24s and that maximum merchandising support behind this campaign. I'm convinced, Bill, that that has been the key to success here in Philadelphia, and I'm looking for that same kind of success all around the country.
Confident words there by Mr. Clean's campaign manager, John Lemon. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been handed an unofficial tally that confirms for us that lemon-refreshed Mr. Clean has indeed won his campaign here in Philadelphia, and won by a very handsome margin. Those results spelled out on the Election Central News computer screen. A very exciting moment, I'm sure, at campaign headquarters. Let's turn to our good friend and on-the-spot reporter, Rolly Bond.
Hi, Bill. Good deal of excitement down here. We've received word that Lemon Refreshed Mr. Clean is on his way here to the hall, and the crowd outside can barely be contained.
I love you, Mr. Clean.
Bill, it's very, very noisy down here in the hall. The typical hoopla of an election night.
Lemon.
And that's here for Lemon Refreshed Mr. Clean, who has just entered the hall.